When a large crowd converges on your favorite hotspot, don't throw in the towel. Try these tricks to find and catch hard-pressed crappie and bluegill.
Fish is right on it. Come on. There he is right there. Got him. That feels like a decent fish. You know, oh yeah, look at that one. Awesome. Look at that crop. That's exactly what we're after here. You know, this is that time of the day where so many people feel like you're not going to get fish. But fish like that one right there, you're going to pick some of them off here and there as you go. You know, we're really here looking for that late afternoon, early evening bite. But you know what? You're going to get one here and there. And that's why I like to get out here as early as I can, even though I know there's going to be a point during the day where it's going to be slow. And it's going to be slow right now. We're just getting set up, getting ready. You know, I'm really expecting that 3 to 6 o'clock to be our deal. But you know what? Fish like that one right here, I'll tell you what, these fish are here. They're in the neighborhood. They're just waiting for that trigger to get going. We'll throw that guy in the pail. That's an awesome start. But here's the thing we're doing today. We are fishing fish that are highly pressured. And what we're going to do today is we're kind of fishing for panfish, okay? I'm not necessarily fishing for crappies. I'm fishing for panfish. So whether we get bluegills or crappies tonight, they're both on the agenda, okay? And I'm fishing one setup over here with a tungsten toad on it and a waxworm and thinking about bluegills there. And over here I'm fishing really aggressive and thinking crappies. But here's what we're doing. We're fishing a highly pressured deal. These are pressured panfish. These fish have been pushed around. There's wheelhouses over here. These fish are getting pretty beat up. So what we're doing now is we're fishing a little bit different than everybody else. I'm not interested in going up on top with all these guys right now, because going up on top, those fish are getting pushed right off the top. There's generators running up here. There's trucks coming and going. So what I'm doing is fishing a little bit off the edge and just working on trying to catch these pressured fish and dealing with where they move to as that pressure increases. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to catch these fish in that scenario. And we're going to fish them during prime time. We're going to fish them when they're ready to bite. There he is. Look at that. This fish, I could see him, and I thought he was actually on my bigger jig rod. And look at this. Ooh, hung up on the bottom of the ice. Get out of there. Got him. Look at that. Good gill. That's why sometimes, especially at this time of the year, when these fish all of a sudden feel that pressure, they end up together. And what'll happen is you'll get schools of gills come in right along with crappies. Look at that. That's a good keeper gill. We'll throw him in the pail. He's not a giant, but he's a great eater-sized fish. But here's what happened there. I thought that fish was on my jig rod. And I'm sitting there bouncing that rod. But the main reason I have got this rod just dead sticking, what this is just a tungsten toad and a waxworm on there. And the only reason I'm using this is I'm fishing big baits today for the crappies. I'm fishing a big rattling flyer spoon. But what I'm doing over here is I'm dead sticking a tungsten toad, and all I'm doing is putting a single waxworm on there. And there's two reasons for this. One is, and right there is great proof, these bluegills are going to come in periodically, sometimes with the crappies, sometimes a little bit at a different time, but they're going to come through the same areas. So I want to have something that is going to catch those gills, because what I'm fishing over here, I'm going to show you, this is not what most people think of for panfish. But I'll tell you what, this is one of my favorite go-to deals right here. Fishing big, especially pressured fish, because you know, they're seeing a lot of little stuff. They're seeing a lot of traditional panfish stuff. So what I'm fishing here is a 16th ounce rattling flyer spoon. This is the perch color. It's bright, it grabs their attention. It's got a rattle in it. And then on top of that, I'm fishing a minnow head. I'm fishing big baits. And the idea behind it is when it comes to the crappies, I'm trying to give them something different than everybody else. I'm trying to give them a big, substantial meal, because one of the things about panfish is they'll all school together. You'll have little guys, you'll have big guys. You don't get as much of that with walleyes. And I'll tell you why you don't with walleyes. The little walleyes are scared of being eaten by the big walleyes. But when it comes to panfish, it's not the same deal. They're not so scared of it. You know, a little panfish isn't as afraid of a big panfish as what you find out there that it might be in a walleye scenario. So I'll fish this bigger bait looking for bigger crappies, but very seldom will the bluegills hit it. So that's why I've also over here got that tungsten toad with a waxy. And right there it paid off. I mean, I'm sitting here jigging, I turn over and that rod's doubled over. That gill had grabbed it. Right on it. There he is right there. Man, it is crazy how all of a sudden this time hits. That sun hits the treetops and oh yeah, good crop. Look at that one. Yeah, he's not as big as I thought, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with him. Get him out of here. He's got hooked in both lips. Look at that. He's got hooks in both top lip and the bottom lip. Good eater size fish, and he's going to go in the pail. But look at that. Now they're coming through. It's just that same old thing. Here we are into what we call prime time. And this is all just starting to happen. And these fish, they're all eating now. Now we've gotten bluegills, we've gotten crappies, and there's been fish come through here that I've missed. And the plain and simple side of this is they're getting rolling now. There you go, great eater size fish. We'll chuck him in here. Let's get back down there. One of the things I'll tell you is now is the time to work fast. There is no time to waste right now, because what happens is these fish start rolling through and the window, it changes every night. I mean, sometimes it can be a longer stint and sometimes it can be really short. So I tend to move as fast as I can when I'm in this scenario that I'm in right now, which is just try to get them while they're snapping. Let's talk a little bit about the location we're fishing here. Back here where those wheelhouses are and where the crowd is and the trucks that have driven in this evening, they're all sitting on the top of a hump. Over there you're looking at somewhere around 12 to 14 feet on top. And what I'm doing is fishing out off the edge. All I've done is found the plateau that drops off into deeper water, and I'm trying to pick where I think these fish are going to rest during the day. And I think they're going to rest out in this deeper water. And then they're going to come up and they're going to feed. One thing I'll tell you though about the spot I'm on. Over there they're all packed up because it flattens out a little bit more, and it's a slower slope over there. Really, that's the kind of stuff I like fishing. Those guys are set up in a really good spot, and it's very deliberate. I mean, they know what they're doing. They're going to get a little bit longer duration of bite when those fish come up. The problem is that now that all these wheelhouses are showing up, those fish are getting spooked out of there. So I'm over on the steeper side with deeper water adjacent to me, and I think those fish are being pushed out into this deeper water. And what I'm doing is I'm just sitting on the side that they're going to come up now. So those guys, they're still going to get some fish. There's no doubt about it. But where I'm sitting here, I might get a little shorter window when that bite starts. But I know those fish are going to have to come past me at one point or another to get up onto that top. And I do believe more of them are going to be pushed toward the deep water with that pressure. Pressured panfish, I mean, they're finicky. And if you can figure out the highway that they shift to once the pressure's on them, you can really get after them good. And in this area right in here, I feel really good about, because there's nothing out there to bother them. They should be able to just come and go, and we're not driving trucks over them over here, and it's a lot calmer where I'm sitting right now than it is right over there. Right on it, there he is, got him. That feels like a pretty good fish. That's got to be a crappie the way he's fighting. You know, one of the things I'm doing, oh yeah, look at this one. That's an awesome fish. Look at that crop. One of the things I'm doing that's a little different is when you watch how I'm fishing these fish tonight, I'm actually using my walleye tackle. When I'm fishing bigger spoons like this, one of the things I'll tell you is I don't like necessarily using the softest rod I got. What a great crop. Man, they're coming through now. This is awesome. I don't like using this on a spoon, okay? This is my soft-tipped little panfish rod, and I use this for my smaller baits when I want to just kind of make them bounce, okay? Just barely move. But when I'm fishing a spoon and trying to catch these bigger, better fish, I want to have that little bit stiffer tip, because one of the things you're doing with the spoon is you're trying to engage those rattles and give it a little bit more snap every time you move it. And that's why I do this, because if I'm using that softer tipped rod that I normally use for bluegills, for these crappies as well with this spoon, I'm not going to be able to put much snap into that spoon without having to move the spoon a long ways. And what I mean is, I barely got to move this rod with this walleye rod to put a little bit of snap in it. If I put that little bit of snap in it and I'm barely moving it, that's perfect. If I've got to use this rod to put that snap in it, I've got to actually move it a long ways because I'm having to engage that tip. But I don't got to do that as much here. I can do this, and you can see I'm barely moving this thing. But what I'm doing is I'm snapping that spoon, and that's engaging the rattles, and it's making it so that spoon will jump and then flutter a little bit. And that's a real key to how I'm catching these fish. There's another fish coming in right now. Let's see if we can get this guy too. They're coming through pretty hot and heavy. Oh, there he is. He's on this one. Got him. They're coming through pretty hot and heavy right now. I looked over, and I saw this tip move. Let's just drop this one and get it out of the way. Look at this. This is a good fish too. Oh yeah, crop crab this one. Look at that. How perfect is that? This is a ball. This primetime fishing, I mean, look at this. It's just chaos, and it is just a ball. But you know, you can come out, you can set up a little bit earlier like we did today to get the evening or afternoon run started. Put a couple bonus fish in the pail, and then put yourself in a position of fishing the way we are right now, where you're here at prime time and you're ready to go. And you know what? We're just smacking them one after another now.